This comes from Chris, wrote into our email. Basketball question. Do you think the NBA will eventually make a change to the buyout situation? Seems like the level of talent for the buyout market is continuing to increase every year. Guys like Andre Drummond, LaMarcus Aldridge, and Blake Griffin are buyout guys now. Although they aren't all-stars, they aren't back-end rotation players. I don't know. If players are willing to give back money and the teams are willing to lose and admit a mistake, I don't know what else you could do, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that
You could have a
I've
waiver.
seen some people talking about it, and I get how it's frustrating how most guys just go to New York or LA or Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Although Sixers Adam did cause Gorgie Jang to go to San Antonio. It is the kind of thing where it's you both want player movement and player flexibility and stuff, and if they choose to give back money, then they should be able to pick where they go. So it might be like a just deal with it kind of thing. But there also could be a situation where, if a guy gets waived, then he has to go through like the waiver process rather than a buyout process. I think I saw somebody talking about, okay, then you don't get to have these guys at the minimum.
Yeah.
You get to have them at like a portion of what they were making before, like LaMarcus and Blake making like 30 million, whatever it was. If they get bought out, they still are, they're, maybe you don't have to pay 30 million to get them again, but you have to pay like 7 or 5 or something like that. They can't be just, if they've had some qualification before, maybe they can't be had for just like dirt cheap. But it's guys, if they want to go somewhere, they should kind of be able to go somewhere, especially if they're giving money back, which again wouldn't do. I would not do that.
If the team doesn't want them and they want to give money back, it's like whatever, it feels like a little bit of sour grape stuff, and until it swings a championship, like if the Nets win the championship, it's not going to be because of fucking Blake Griffin. It's going to be because of they have 2 of the 5 best players in the NBA and Kyrie Irving. That'll probably be more likely to be the reason.
Yeah, and it just shows how much of a structural advantage those kinds of teams have.
Yeah.
If you're like reasonably serviceable in Brooklyn, New York, LA, Miami, Golden State, you can just basically not care about the rest of your roster, trade everybody for whatever, and just know like, hey, guys are going to want to come here because we live in a traditionally cool place. And it's just like, I don't know what you can do about that aside from like
put all the teams in there.
Yes, every team is Brooklyn. Every team lives in a small space. There is also just a second. Any thoughts on Al Horford not playing the rest of the season?
Oh well, they should send in Jerry Colangelo. Do something about that, right? Because I don't think Mike Muscala dressed last night either. So, if a team is losing on purpose like that, like Oklahoma City is doing, many teams are doing. Orlando's losing on purpose. They should. I mean, Brian Colangelo is faking doing something in Australia with a team he fake owns. You could maybe call him in. Jerry Colangelo still not dead as far as the reports go. So you could bring him in. Dead. Any ideas from you? I mean, I wonder what Dave Silver's doing at this moment.
Yeah, it is really. I do wonder if has there been any self-reflection from Dave Silver and the other owners that like forced his hand to do that kind of stuff? Has there been like, oh, we did them dirty? Like, because they probably don't think like, oh, forcing Jerry Colangelo on them was a bad thing. They probably were like, yeah, it
saved the franchise.
They matured so well because of it, and now they're wrong, of course. But I do wonder if like this. The Sixers just took so much shit from like national media and the NBA and all this stuff for doing what like everybody's doing right now, and they did it like with the choice and intentionally. Whereas like Oklahoma City is like really begging people to stay home so they can lose, please, because they're not losing enough, and the Magic for years and among other teams were trying to be good and losing by accident. And, like the Wolves as well. And it's like, just because this was part of a decision that they wanted to do that was ultimately successful, and they weren't doing lip service. And now nobody's doing lip service. Now it's everybody's doing the same thing. And so maybe it's easier because it's like it's a COVID year and there's fans at lower capacity anyway, so it's not, and some teams still don't have fans, so it's not as much of a concern. But I mean, there should be a public apology. Like there should be like a full like mea culpa, and maybe in a process 30 for 30 down the road, Adam Silver goes like, you know what, maybe I whatever. And even if he does that, I'll still be mad. I'll still he should award. We should get a draft pick. Like he should award us a draft pick for what happened.
Absolutely, and he should resign. Honestly, I think he should resign. Look, there's the CEO of Harris.
He should resign right now for what happened like 6 years ago.
Correct. Yeah. Look, when there's no statute of limitations on being fucking wrong, what he did was wrong. He should retire. David Stern in the grave should fucking retire again. Everyone involved with that whole situation, which David Stern was involved, Jerry Colangelo should retire, and then after he passes away of natural causes, retire again. Everyone involved. Brian Colangelo should retire. Josh Harris should retire. Scott O'Neill should retire. Everyone should retire.
My Jerry Colangelo should die of natural causes shirt is raising a lot of questions already answered by my opinion on the shirt.